What's up, guys, and welcome back to the infamous project. I have something coming down the driveway here that is actually probably going to be a little bit scary, and it is going to be a reality check for a lot of us that think that sometimes we are in control. But if you guys remember the wise words in Days of Thunder, control is an illusion, folks. Look at that. So it's going to be fun trying to get this off the trailer, and I know how much of a pain it was to get on the trailer because I heard all about it. Unbelievable. He survived, guys. Broken leg, that's it, but he is alive. So anyways, we're going to get the trailer moved around, try and get this thing off, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more in detail. Did he ever hit that pole?
I don't know, I didn't kill him. You know, you would have thought his shoulder and his face and skull all be crushed in. He's lucky. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that would have hurt the hips for sure.
I don't know how it didn't just kill him.
You seen one wreck this bad in person before? Well, guys, got the car off the trailer. Took a little bit of strategy to get it off because, well, the car is pretty much shaped like a banana now. In fact, it kind of looks like one of those little micro car drawings that people do on the driver's side, and the passenger side is elongated or stretched, if you will. And we're trying not to make this side of the car catch the fender of the trailer. So I had to be a little strategic getting it off, but managed to get it down, use the lightning to drag it off the final inch of the mile. And of course the H-pipe subframe stuff and everything was dragging down on the bottom. So before we get into detail in this video on everything on the car, because I haven't even really gone through it in its totality, a little bit of context, because I'm sure the first thing everybody wants to know is, well, what the hell happened? So an individual reached out to me on Instagram and he said, hey man, I had an unfortunate event. I wrecked my Foxbody and the car's sitting in impound, and I rather somebody go get it and that can maybe use some parts off it than the car just ultimately go to scrap. So given the nature, when he sent me the pictures, and when he sent me the pictures, things were actually worse because like the roof was sort of like laying on the top because they cut it off, and the driver's side door was sitting in front of the vehicle because they had to cut him out of the car. I didn't ask questions, and I'm sure he probably didn't want to be asked a million questions. He'd probably already gone through the ringer a million times by friends, family, or maybe just any individual that knew what happened. So I said, no problem, man. Thank you so much. I can arrange to go get the car picked up. And that's pretty much the extent of it. I know he broke his leg, and I was pretty much like, how did you live? And he was like, that's a question that I ask myself every single day. So it seems he was told he hit a pole, and judging by the huge indentation into the side of the car here, I'd say that that's probably a pretty accurate statement. And one thing that kind of solidifies that is the gentleman who picked the car up for me said there was a bunch of treated wood, and this is like your telephone pole, and they treat these. You can smell how it's treated. It smells like a railway tie. And so there's no doubt that he in fact did hit a pole. And guys, it's just, it was bad to look at it in pictures. I'm sure it's bad to look at it in video, and it's bad to look at in person. But the gentleman is okay. And well, let's start going into the details of what we have or what we don't have on this car. So first things first, let's look at the impact zone. You can see the subframe connector there, just folded, cracked right in half there. Exhaust all tweaked, bent. There's your transmission mount down there, your cross member mount, I should say. So absolutely just dummied. And the seat folded right in. I'm surprised, obviously this would have been the impact that his leg would have taken. Surprised it didn't break his hips. So he's very fortunate there. And just think, right, the armrest of the door would have caved in. And I guess it's probably a good thing that the pole went more this way than that way. I'm sure that would have been a much more unfortunate event. But the one thing that I want to say is, did that subframe connector potentially save him, right? Like, I know that that's not the world's strongest subframe connector right there. However, that's something. And something going across the center point of the car is better than nothing, because that's essentially what a Foxbody is. There's nothing there structurally other than the rocker panel. So unbelievable, guys. Red interior car, and it was also a 4-cylinder car. Can tell by the brake booster here. So, you know, was it his brakes were not good enough for the power? I did notice that not one tire matches on the car. They're all different. I don't know if he had his like a full set of makers on it and these got swapped. This one is all dry rotted to hell and doesn't hold air. So I'm not sure what went on here. And apparently he doesn't remember what happened. He just knows that he hit a pole. Now, was he speeding? Was he drinking? Was, you know, was it wet outside? Did he hydroplane? Did he have a tire blowout? Did brakes fail? Someone pull out in front of him? An animal? He swerved? I don't know. We don't know the answer. So again, we're just thankful that the individual is okay. So let's go to the goodies here. Amazingly enough, here is the double bubble Cobra R hood, and it looks great from the top side. And amazingly enough, this could actually be fixed. It's a really nice quality hood. You can see, you know, obviously some of the fiberglass has been compromised there, some down there, and then the mounting points. But that hood could actually be used. So that's very impressive almost when you're factoring in the damages to the car. The front bumper cover, I would say, would be usable just for the exception of down here. But this would actually be a good bumper cover if you were doing a ditch kit, because you don't need to worry about stuff that's down there. So bumper cover okay. header panel, we got one stud that pulled out there. The radiator, surprisingly enough, I think like it might be tweaked, but let's see here. It looks, unless a hose broke or got cut. Oh yeah, the alternator chopped through the hose right there. The motor mount sheared itself pretty much right off there. And if you guys can look down here, the transmission, the casing where it bolts to the bell housing broke right off. Bell housing bolt loose. That could have been like that from before. But we've got a set of shorty, looks like 1 5/8 headers, all exhaust wrapped. There's a set of AFR Street Renegade 165 heads, aluminum heads. I'm assuming there's going to be roller rockers of some sort underneath here. Told it's a built 306, don't know what the cam is. Got the Proform 750 carburetor. Of course, when you're in a wreck like this, they spray the motor down. Now the air cleaner and everything was on. I took it off just so I could get access to the carburetor so we could see what it was. So probably want to pop this off, you know, clean this all up, pop it off and see if anything actually went down into the runners. Otherwise might need to pull the intake off and clean some stuff up. What else do we got here? We got the RPM air gap Edelbrock intake manifold and MSD electronics. So we got MSD distributor, MSD coil, and a digital 6AL ignition. So those are all nice parts. I have a beefy sway bar down there. I'm not sure if that's an Eibach or what. Got adjustable struts and shocks, and they are Godspeeds. Now this one on this side, I was taking a quick little look, and I don't know if this one's going to be any good. I feel like the shaft of the strut is probably bent, but maybe I can repurpose some of the other parts off the strut. Got newer end links down there. Take a look at the back here. Wonder if it's an 8.8 in this car. And there are our Godspeed coilovers and rear shocks. So all of those should be okay. Looks like we have a set of dumped usable Flowmaster mufflers. You know what? Those are going to be perfect for Foxbody. That's exactly what I wanted, was a set of dumped Flowmaster. So I'm hoping those flow tubes are actually good up there. Everything's just kind of dangling. So maybe once I get the car up, if I unbolt the flow tubes off, I'm going to be able to potentially bolt those on the Foxbody. Oh, an aluminum drive shaft. Not sure I would trust the drive shaft, but you never know. Could always take it to a driveline shop and see if they can put it on a spin it and see if it's in balance or if it can be balanced. We got tubular lower control arms. I just bought a new fuel tank for the DPS car, and here's a fuel tank right here I could have used. So trunk lid, amazingly enough, still latches, and the key still works. Battery box, still got some plastics in the back here, some of the coupe trim. Well, that's all cracked and no good. Sure, a lot of this stuff is cracked and mangled. Dome light. Well, got some trim rings and some random stuff. There was a couple other goodies, randoms. We got the auto gauge monster tack and shift light, billet clutch quadrant, brand new Autolite plugs. Must have had some A-pillar gauges here that are no longer existent. And I gotta say, this is a first for me to see a gauge cluster this messed up. And it's too bad. 140 mile an hour speedo. Those are unique to 89 for the pre-90 cars, so that's kind of too bad. Might be able to save the faceplate actually. have to see about that. What do we got here? Water and volts. This steering wheel, just dummied. There's actually a hole right here. That's interesting. Maybe somebody had like a custom like nitrous button or something there at some point. Well guys, that's the summary of this wrecked 89 former 4-cylinder 5.0 conversion car that was wrecked really bad. And hopefully it's a little eye-opening for us to, you know, especially when we don't know what happened. So let's just take it as a lesson to not drink and drive, to, you know, drive in safe, maintained, controlled environments. If you're going to do stupid stuff, make sure that the maintenance is up to date on your vehicle. Make sure that you have tires that are in good shape, not all weather cracked or, you know, the wrong type of tire for the conditions that you're going to be driving on. Maybe not have so much power with 4-cylinder brakes, especially when you still got the drum brakes in the rear. You know, everything, the suspension is newer, you know, the sway bars and end links and control arm bushings. You know, it looks like some money was definitely spent on the car. Looked like it had pretty nice paint as well. And interesting about the paint, I think they like skim coated the whole car. So, you know, there's just pretty much a thin layer of Bondo everywhere on this car, which maybe they did that. It was their block sanding technique to get the car extra straight. Who knows? Who knows the history? But there you have it, guys. Be safe, drive responsibly, and I'll get picking away and cutting away. I'm probably gonna have to stock up on my Sawzall blades and charge up a whole bunch of batteries, because I feel like cutting is gonna be the easiest way of getting a lot of the stuff out of this car that is that's worth saving. So there you guys have it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. We'll see you here next time on the Infamous Project.